Greetings. Propaganda. There hasn't been a history I've read or I've watched and educated myself on, or current day events that didn't like reek of propaganda. History is written by the victors and all that, right? There's always like some way to like mold the story to fit your narrative. And even if you're trying to tell it as it is, that is the narrative you want to show people, right? Which is, I am perfectly objective and I want you to get the information as far as we know, exactly how it happened. And that's my narrative, that's my propaganda, that's why you come to me. And it's one of the reasons why I don't really take media or do I take history very seriously. I love talking about like relishing in tales of glory of people, how Caesar was able to subdue the Gauls, even though I would have been probably a pro Gaul supporter at that time, about how Alexander rose through the ranks or Cyrus the Great, built his Persian Empire, how the Muslims got out of Arabia and built themselves an empire upon the backs of previous civilizations that they like assimilated into their golden age, or how like the Chinese or the Mongols will manage to eat the whole world, or how the Germans got defeated at World War II, or how the Germans got even to be called Germans as in Germany, or how the Native Americans were conquered, or how they got their successors years and years and years and years after, or their successor nations rather got their independence from said conquerors. But it all reeks of propaganda, right? So I can't take it seriously. It's like a fancy story, only some of it happened, and to me that's what the news is. To me that's what the news reporter is. To me, that's what everybody is. When that guy at the bar, if you're from these Western heathen countries, or when, or when, if we're here sitting at like a public hookah place or whatever, and we're drinking our coffee, and somebody's telling a story about how he beat this guy or that guy up, or how this funny situation or not funny situation happened to him, and he's the hero of the story, or that's what I did to this guy, and then that guy said this, and everybody yells in laughter, right? It's rare that something somebody says does not sell something, which is why I think propaganda is basically like an intrinsic quality in human communication, and it's just about what propaganda and to what extreme. I tend to take the propaganda of always objective, say what's on my mind, won't bullshit the guy in front of me. And I'll try my best not to offend you, but that doesn't mean that I won't. And I stick by that. And to me, because this narrative I saw gives me the best of friends. Like everybody who was able to bypass that and what befriended me, we've had very strong bonds with them. So I see it as an effective method of getting the results I want, which is good company. Others who want to climb ranks or wherever, they have to sell themselves as the guy who can get things done and be the bastion of productivity and increased profits. A person who does not want to participate in politics and thinks it's beneath him and propaganda is beneath him, that would be his narrative, and that's, if somebody looks at him, that's what he sees, right? To me, like, propaganda doesn't stick to the news. It's just a fancy studied way of propaganda, and only if we train ourselves to recognize somebody like that, everybody's using it, figure out how they're using it and whether it's good or bad, and how you can use it yourself and whether that's good or bad, you can learn to see it in the news, which is what I did, and see it in historical events, and that lets you take a lot of things with a grain of salt. Like everything becomes harder to trust But because everything is harder to trust, like nothing of value was lost, you're just harder to shock and harder um, to trick. You know, when you see a child on a coast lying down right on the floor and whatever, and your heart shivers and ache as we have to get the immigrants in. I'd be the type of guy saying, "Huh, what about the cameraman over there? The guy who took the photo. Why did he take the photo?" Right? If you see a child dead on a beach, you grab him and you go to the hospital. And once he's confirmed dead, you can take the picture to show people. But it's like, showing starving people in Africa. You just put a bunch of people doing this, and I'm like, what's behind this? There's something behind this. What are you up to? What do you want me to feel? And should I feel it? And that's important to me. And, it's like that Cicero statement, who benefits? If I see this, who benefits? And that makes you perhaps a bit cynical about life. I say quite realistic. And again, that's what cynics would call themselves, right? We're realistic. That's up for the person who communicates with me to decide, not me. But that's my point, which is there's something behind everything, and you train yourself to see it. And that's my thoughts on propaganda. It's everywhere. You can use it. That's fine. Anybody can use it. But be wary. You have a responsibility to your own self and your own mental state to react to things in the right way. And to react to things in the right way, you have to be educated properly on how to catch the media and catch the propaganda of the people around you in order to generate a proper, trained, and controlled reaction to the situation, whether it be tragic, whether it be encouraging, or whether it be joyful. It doesn't matter, as long as the emotion that was generated was based on proper foundation and understanding of what's in front of you. And yeah, that's my thoughts on the issue, and I'll see you guys on the next one.